Comic book guy, you get in the back.
Front and well, back and center.
I gotta have space for my opinions.
I think it should be like the Dirty Harry review last night, but you're in the back seat now, just 5 minutes in, leave.
Fuck it, bye.
Did he
I
fall?
was trying to be sneaky.
Fell down.
Carefully, thump.
At least it didn't make me jump like that time Brian and I were doing a video, then Jake came up to the window, Harry! I thought we were gonna get robbed. I knew it was Jake. I just thought he was gonna rob us.
Oh, thank God, just Jake.
He's that angry. Give me all your monies.
Did you like the movie?
I enjoyed it thoroughly. Yeah, that was a blast. It was not my favorite kind of Thor story, but it was so fun that I was just along for the ride through most of it, which was great.
I was kind of with you on that too. I won't go so far as to say I thought the movie was a blast. There were parts that it had me and parts that it didn't. It really sort of picked up for me, honestly, towards the second half of the movie.
When Kat Dennings wasn't in it anymore.
I'll get to her ass.
She was more annoying in this one than she was in the last one for me. But that's just because every time she said something, said like a joke, I'd hear over here, ha 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 ha.
I did that once.
The rest of the time,
I'm not even kidding. I literally only did that once.
I didn't mind her in this one as nearly as much as I did in the first one.
I
I didn't mind her that much in the
first
first one.
She's a comic relief character, God forbid.
I'm not mad because I'm upset. One, I didn't think she's funny in the goddamn least. But she's a useless comic relief character in a movie that's already funny. That's my thing. And even with that being said, if she was at least funny, then I'd be like, okay, well, at least she kind of made me laugh a little bit. Honestly, in this one, she started annoying me less as the second half of the movie came along, because at least then she was actually fucking doing something. Whereas in the first half of it, and believe me, I wanted to be like, okay, maybe she won't fucking bother me this time, because the fucking first one, she was such a black eye on that goddamn movie that I can't believe it wasn't fucking Jessica Alba playing her. So in this one, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm walking into it knowing that I already hate this goddamn character. Maybe because of that, she won't bother me quite as much, and fuck all she did!
I thought she was fine.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all.
She made me laugh a bunch of times. I like that they had her as the comic relief. She had an intern this time around, and he was a little annoying.
I didn't mind him.
Ian. Well, see, because I think his job was... the way I see it, Kat Dennings' character, and to a lesser extent Ian's character, are basically there, so it's not just Natalie Portman wandering around mumbling to herself, you know? So she's got someone to say the science gibberish to.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but there's other characters she could easily... In the first one, there were other characters she could have easily have done that with that would have been less annoying and actually better written than that character that Kat Dennings plays, who in the first one bugged the shit out of me because she didn't fucking goddamn do anything. She was literally just there to be a comic relief, and that was it. That's literally the only function that she served in that goddamn movie. And then in this one, there's scenes with her and Natalie Portman and whoever else where Kat Dennings is given the most lines, and every single one of them I felt should have been followed up with a laugh track. That's just me.
So did you have a problem with the IT crowd guy? Because I felt like he... I thought he was funny. The date guy.
Oh, him.
Dowd, is that his name?
Chris O'Dowd?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. He's only in the movie twice, so he wasn't really in it long enough for him to piss me off in any way. I'm not going to go as far as to say that those scenes were completely necessary.
I don't think they were, but...
Yeah, I mean,
They were
like...
just there to be silly.
But they were there to be silly.
They were there to be silly.
The tone this movie had, it really... more so... And the first one was funny, but this one really embraced the goofiness, which I thought was kind of perfect. Because in the Marvel Universe, I think Thor is probably the hardest character they have to handle.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
So displaced from reality. I mean... Even with, like, Captain America and fucking Iron Man and shit, Thor is so displaced from reality.
Well, that's what I liked about this one as well as the first one, is I think they struck a nice balance between, like, you know, now we're being serious about, like, Asgard and plate planets and so forth, and then we're tongue-in-cheek, like, making offhanded jokes about stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, the rest of it, I thought was genuinely funny. I just didn't like Kat Dennings' character. But with her little incidental music and shit. I swear to God,
incidental music.
I did. Fuck me. I swear to God, if the scene at the ending credits was just gonna be her standing there throwing shit in that portal, I was gonna be so pissed.
I thought that was cute. I don't get it. Well, all right.
But I mean, like, but I do agree with you in the sense that, like, yeah, this easily could be extremely campy, and to an extent it kind of is, but it seems aware of that without being too aware of it. Aware of it in that, like, yeah, they know that this is kind of funny material, and they
winking at the camera only so often.
Right, yeah, exactly. Without going into, like, let's say, like, you know, Birdemic 2 aware of yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This one, yeah, it does strike a balance between moments that are serious and moments that are, Kat Dennings aside, that are genuinely funny. The banter with him and Loki, I thought was great.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff was fun. That stuff was really funny. And I was going into it, I was kind of like you in the sense of, like, I don't know if I really need to see Loki again. Not that I necessarily dislike that character.
No,
but
it's a great character,
yeah.
and he plays the fuck out of it. He really does. He deserves all the attention he gets for it, because he's doing amazing things with that character.
And then he's one of my favorite parts about the movie.
Yeah, and he was one of my favorite parts of the first one and of the Avengers, but at the same time, it's how many times can this guy be a focal point for this universe before they have to move on?
Well, at least in this one, he's really only in about half of it.
True. True.
He's used sparingly in this movie, and then when he is in it, they were kind of doing some different things with it, and in the sense that he's there, but he's not the featured villain or anything like that. I like that he's kind of working with them and the different banter he and Thor have back and forth. I thought they had better chemistry than Thor and Natalie Portman.
See, for me, like, that, some of this movie felt a little fanficky to me, and I mentioned this in the theater, and you said that those comic books are, but, like, for me, specifically, like, the Thor and Loki having more chemistry than Thor and the main girl character, and, like, the whole, like, new random villain being introduced and forcing them to work together as a team, and, like, learning a little and laughing a little, and Thor taking off his shirt, and Loki, you know, having, like, his moment of revelation there at the end, you know. It hit all, like, like, if they had ended up together at the end and then Loki got dude pregnant, I wouldn't have been surprised.
That would have been amazing. Oh my god, this movie's genius.
But as I said in the theater when you said that, that is very much kind of, that's the way comic books are, because anymore
Dude
at least...
pregnant?
No, fanfic. Because anymore, at least, the people anymore that write comic books were fans of the original comic books. And a lot of them got their start by writing fan fiction and putting it in and submitting. But really,
I don't think Sarah's talking about that kind of fanfiction.
I know.
No. Well, 'cause, like,
I know what you mean, but at the same time, like the Thor and Loki relationship, it's not far from how it is in the comic books. I mean,
I'm just because, like, Loki's pretty popular with, like, the ladies on the internet.
oh, yeah.
You know, and it's this movie seemed a bit aware of that, you know, more so than the first one.
Oh, I like her.
Him, like, getting smacked in the face and, like, having his moment on the ground.
Everyone threatening him with the same lines every time, and him just kind of getting annoyed by it to a certain point.
Don't tell me, you'll kill me.
Don't tell me, you'll kill me.
Apparently there'll be a line.
But I had fun with that. The first half of the movie I thought was a little, I don't know, touch and go, kind of. Some scenes just sort of happened kind of out of nowhere. Nothing really led into a lot. It was just sort of a sequence of a lot of different things happening. A lot of it felt a little bit rushed in the first half of the flick. Like, hell, when Thor ends up back on Earth, I'm sitting there like, oh, well, he's back on Earth now.
Apparently he can just do that.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Well, it did finally explain that they rebuilt the Rainbow Bridge, but at first it's like, oh,
Yeah,
well,
a while ago.
yeah. He had shit to do. They explained that. He had shit to do. God damn it.
But so that was kind of seeming. A lot of it came across to me as a slightly less ambitious than the first movie and more kind of just killing time until the next Avengers film. But once it really started getting into the suspense and a lot more of the humor that actually worked for me, once him and Loki started working together, I mean, for the most part, a lot of it I found pretty predictable. I kind of was figuring who was going to die and who was going to live in this thing. But then it actually had me. Then I was actually having some fun. And overall, I enjoyed it. I didn't like it as much as the first one. Honestly, it's probably one of my least favorites of these Marvel movies, but I still was entertained by it.
I personally think it was better than the first one.
I don't at all. I thought the first one was far more of a consistent film than this. It felt far more ambitious. Scenes just kind of, it had a much better arc to it than this. Even Thor himself. Whereas I do love him in this movie, but man, like the first third of this movie, maybe even longer than that, it felt like he was in less than half of the film. But it's like I said, it did pick up for me after a while, and then I did end up having a good time with the flick. But I didn't like it better than the first one.
I liked it about the same.
As the first one? Needed more moments where he's throwing coffee mugs on the ground. I'll tell you what it needed.
Needed more Kat Denning throwing shoes into portals.
Yeah, that's what I needed.
That's what I needed. I like the sort of like that. I'm not gonna keep harping on our difference of opinions, but she's that sort of like over-infantilized female comic relief character that either you like or you don't, you know?
Yeah, and if somebody likes her in this movie, I get it. I do. I'm not saying like, oh, how fucking dare you like this piece of shit fucking character.
Incidental music.
It just, it just didn't work on me. Oh shit! Irving's gonna rob us.
Even saw 12 Years a Carrot. But back to Thor, I'm sorry.
So we went on a 12 years a slaver Brian tangent.
He was only a slaver for 12 years? I thought it was longer than that.
He started 12 years ago.
Oh, I see.
12 years man and boy. But it's not, you know, it's just a cute, funny little movie, you know. And it's got some pretty intense parts.
It does.
The battle scenes I thought were particularly well crafted. It's got that sort of flowing action scene where you can still actually tell what's going on. There were a couple times where I lost the thread, like when he's in the big red cloud, you know. But for the most part, yeah, you can tell what's going on. It's not jumping you all over the place. Which is difficult considering there's like portals just like popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that in the hands of a much less director, that'd be confusing as shit. And I did sort of miss Kenneth Branagh's touch on the movie, but overall I thought it was handled fine. I thought the action was fine. The 3D I thought was better in this one than in the first one.
And it was still conversion, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, there was a credit at the end for a 3D conversion, and I mean for a conversion.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was a conversion.
I thought it was fine.
Usually, like you pick it up once you get like the Airbender backdrop effect.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that at all in this.
There was I'm assuming it was converted because there was a credit at the end for like a 3D conversion team. But yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, I'm not saying that it's one of those where like, oh, you must see this in 3D to fully experience it.
But it wasn't distracting.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
But it wasn't worthless. I mean, I mean, it wasn't worthless 3D. It wasn't like, oh shit, well that was worth the $2 extra. There
was a lot of like random stuff just like swirling in the air. They touched on like the susurration of starlings, which is one of my favorite bird concepts. But there's just like this stuff flowing in the foreground, but you know, not stuff being thrown at you.
Although when it did that a couple of times, I liked it. Like when shit was falling through the portal, like the camera was like, "Oh, that's kind of fun, right on." I'm a sucker for that kind of 3D, though.
We're making popcorn.
Thor, why are you making Jiffy Pop?
This on Asgard.
Hemsworth is great because like the scenes of him that are goofy and are funny, they're still played incredibly genuine. Like when he hangs his hammer on the coat hanger and stuff like that.
Correct me wrong, but Thor's not a very smart guy.
It depends on who's writing him.
He's
in the
Asgard
comics.
Smart.
So smart.
You know, it depends on who's writing him and which version of that character you're getting, because there's a lot of versions of him people do write him as being kind of the big dumb lummox, and that is probably the most widely accepted, like most known version of him as being kind of, you know.
I mean, they did a good job of getting that across without turning into the Asylum's almighty Thor. I need the hammer of invincibility!
Give me the hammer!
Give me the hammer!
They didn't do as many of those, like, George the Jungly coffee, what is this coffee moments that they did in the first one, but he still, like, they had, like, the little moments, like him hanging his hammer up on there.
Which totally worked for me, because one, he played it completely genuine, and also, I mean, why wouldn't he have done that?
Where
Like,
else
okay,
are you gonna put it? That's
sure.
what it looks like right there.
Right, yeah, that worked for me, and
My only thing with this, and this is being a comic book nitpicky, that thing would slam into the crowd immediately. Like, that would just destroy that wall.
that would have been funny.
I did like it that in the final fight when the hammer was like trying to freaking find him for the entire battle scene. Because it kept like falling into other dimensions. The hammer's like, hip, whip, well, no,
Go
hip.
into space.
I like that it ties into Stonehenge, which directly ties it into Halloween 3.
Yes, yes.
That's the important thing.
Yes. Everything ties back to Halloween
Speaking
3.
of which, Stellan Skarsgård was really good
He
in
was
this as
good.
well.
He's good in just about everything.
I like
though.
that they gave him those things back when he left the
Yeah.
prison. There you go.
It's your big fancy thingamabob.
We don't know what it does. It's obviously a weapon, but here, it's yours.
And your keys in your wallet.
And your keys in your wallet. Box of condoms.
No, the entire supporting cast I thought did really damn well.
Needed more Ray Stevenson.
It did. Ray Stevenson was killing it for me.
Which one was he?
Volstagg, the big guy.
Oh, okay.
That's
I was digging. I guess it was Zachary Levi. You
Yeah,
mentioned Kenneth
yeah.
Branagh. I kind of felt like he was in this movie in spirit because I thought that was him. Like the first time he
Yeah.
popped up on screen.
Zachary Levi doing his best fucking
Carrie Elwes.
Yes. Bubbles?
For Asgard! Whoa!
This movie's stupid. Yeah, honestly, I could have used a lot more of those guys because
Yeah.
they were
Well,
my
Zachary
favorite
Levi
parts of
was
the
a
first
replacement.
one.
He wasn't in the first one.
I mean, those characters.
Yeah.
The trio of characters, because they were some of my favorite parts about the first
Yeah.
movie, and they're in it here and there. And then when they do show up, it is fun. But I could have used a little more of that.
Well, they actually gave Rene Russo a part this time.
Oh, she was bitching, dude. That fight scene was amazing.
Which?
Christopher Eccleston as the villain was pretty fucking solid in my opinion.
But yeah, know that going in because I had no idea until the end credits.
I did. We were talking about this inside, and I knew it was him. But if I didn't know he was in this movie, I wouldn't have been able to spot that was him.
I can test the fact because I totes didn't.
Yeah. And knowing that that's him, yeah, I could tell from the voice and even how he looked. But if I didn't, I would have been like, oh, sweet, it's the space jockey from Prometheus.
Well, and you know, I'm gonna be the guy that comments on this. The art direction in this movie was fantastic.
All those end credits were gorgeous.
The end
They
credits
were.
were
That was
gorgeous,
fun.
but just beyond that, like the costume design in this one was a little more, in my opinion, a little less like space armory and a little more, still kind of out there, but a little more realistic, like a little more actual looking like something someone would fight in.
So less like Flash Gordon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I would love to see Dino De Laurentiis' Thor.
That would be interesting.
Holy crap. It'd have a bitchin' Queen soundtrack.
But there was like weird little touches that I really loved, like in that weird, almost like Star Wars spaceship fight scene with the flying things. Mm-hmm. Like the Asgardian ships, they were longboats. Mm-hmm. They were fucking longboats with cannons on them. It was badass.
Nice. Yeah, the effects work was pretty solid in it, quite honestly. Like, I like even though this part was kind of ruined in the trailer, but when he knocks that rock
Oh yeah.
monster up, I mean, that was humorous. That part's in the trailer, but
I
it still
accept your
made me laugh.
surrender. Ting!
Yeah, that line wasn't in the trailer. That made me laugh. That was good. Should we talk about the post-credit stuff? That, of course,
Yeah.
I had to lean over to Dave and go, what was that?
Well,
I know about the Infinity Gauntlet because sometimes when Alex gets drunk, he explains it to me.
Oh, okay.
But,
I had no idea. I was like, what's Mugatu from Zoolander doing this?
well, it seems like
Yes.
it's like at the end of the Avengers they showed Thanos, and it seems
Yeah,
like they're
yeah.
building up to Thanos.
Another moment where I had to be like, who's that?
over time, so they're putting in the idea of the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Gems. but they showed Benicio. Like, it's a really random-ass character.
Michael Sheening the hell out of it, which
Yeah,
was
Benicio
awesome.
del Toro as the Collector. Michael Sheening the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a tie into Guardians of the Galaxy, which it seems like it's going to be the next movie that kind of goes in that direction.
That scene started weird because it looked like a
It
60s
was like
Star
a different
Trek
movie
episode.
we were watching. Like they got
girl-
stuck in a different dimension.
Yeah, the girl walking in like from fucking Spock's brain or something.
They're in Poison Ivy's hideout in Batman.
Yeah, time to die. And then the end with the Rancor.
The Ice Rancor?
The Ice Rancor. The Ice Rancor
That's in the
chasing
first
the
movie.
birds. That was good. I was worried for a second when it showed like the bowl of cereal. I'm like, if this is just more Darcy shtick. But no. I liked the thing chasing after the birds. That was cute. But I recommend it.
Oh,
Overall.
absolutely. I liked it. I think it fits in very well in what Marvel's doing, which they're going fucking crazy with the news that was announced earlier today.
Gua.
Oh, did you read that, Brad?
About the
the
Netflix
Netflix
thing? Yeah.
Which is all going to take part in the same universe, too. So, like, the Marvel universe, film-wise, is getting... They're either going to dig themselves a giant, horrible hole and fuck it all up, or it's just going to be amazing.
Either or, it'll be amazing.
Sure. So far, I think they're doing honestly, like, the undertaking that Marvel took doing movies like this and creating a universe with them was, who would have thought to fucking do that? Like, when you think about it, practically, it's a really bad idea. And they pulled it off really well.
Honestly, there's really not one of there's really not one of these movies that I outright fucking dislike. I mean, sure, there's some that I like better than others. This one's definitely not one of my favorites, but I didn't dislike it. I still had fun with the movie, and at the least, with these flicks, I'll typically have a decent enough time, even if there's stuff in there that...
I think they definitely hit their stride.
Yeah, and they have an idea of where they're going. They have it, like, when they first started doing them, they just kind of like, all right, we're going to try these things and see if they work and then try and put them together. And now they have a game plan, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious about where it's going to go.
What's the next one? Captain America?
Captain America, which...
The preview for that looked amazing.
Yeah!
From what I read about that is what they're doing with that one is they're going to try and make it kind of a political thriller.
Sweet.
With Captain America in it.
Okie dokie. I thought it was. I really liked one of my favorite parts of this movie was when Chris Evans showed up.
Yeah.
That was
It's
a
like-
great cameo that I had no
Look,
idea
he just
was
disguised
coming.
himself as Captain America and was like, "Brr, brr, brr, I love America."
I love America. Patriotism.
You want to have a discussion about truth?
Oh, so he's Captain America if he was played by the guy from Almighty Thor. That was a good trailer. Like it threw me off at first because for the first couple seconds I thought it was the start of this movie.
I did too. I was like, "Oh, Captain America showed up."
Oh, this is interesting. Like, are they accidentally showing us the new Captain America movie?
Well,
like, this is gonna be like fucking like the
They
Fifth
decided to
Estate
do us a
mistake.
screening.
And it's not
Yeah.
the trailer that premiered online recently. I mean, they showed a whole scene from the movie.
Yeah, really well done too.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one because the first Captain America, I think of the Marvel Universe so far was probably my favorite one.
Captain America.
I thought it was so brilliantly done.
I liked Captain America a
It
lot.
was really well done.
I never really sat down and thought which one was my favorite.
I kind of like what I like about them is they're all good in different ways. You
Yeah.
know, they don't feel like it's all made by the same guy.
Yeah.
They've all
Yeah.
got their own definite tones.
I think that's a good thing too, that they don't just let the same person do all of them.
Yeah.
In terms of writing, I mean, in terms of directing.
Yeah, now they've signed Joss Whedon on to be like the creative director, but at the same time, like Marvel's also really good about picking out odd talent to handle these things. You know, like
Who directed this?
Alan Taylor, who he did episodes of Game of Thrones. That's pretty much it. I think this was his first feature film. I'm not certain about that, but
Thinking back, I can actually see that.
but for someone doing their first feature film,
Oh yeah, it looked just fine. What we got?
We got the X-Men movie.
Oh, X-Men, yeah.
Days of Future Past.
I need to be on the internet more because this is the first I've heard of it. So I was
Really?
like,
Really? They've been talking about this for a while.
"Well,
Yeah,
that's
Bryan
fine.
Singer's
I
back.
didn't know."
Yeah, they had that was like kind of the post-credit scene in the Wolverine was teasing what's going on in this one.
Okay. It's like I was like,
it looks really good.
I'm cautiously optimistic because I've been hurt before, but like it looks amazing and it's Days of Future Past, which is a pretty interesting storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from what I've read, it's not going to be like Days of Future Past from the comics, but they're going to, the basic building blocks of it are going to be there. But it's just like seeing that trailer on the big screen. I picked out stuff I didn't see on my tiny little iPhone that I watched it before. Like, they're throwing in some random ass characters into this new one.
Was that Jennifer Lawrence? I saw
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in the first.
Yeah,
she was in.
She was in X-Men First Class.
Yeah, First
She was
Class.
It's been a while. I'm sorry.
But they threw in like Bishop and Blink,
The Bishop!
which were like fucking
Yes, the Bishop.
He's my
C-list
favorite.
characters at best.
Terry Jones is really underrated as a
He
superhero
really
actor.
is.
I like
The
your
Bishop.
I love your review of the trailer though. When you can't, this was my first time seeing the trailer too. But Dave's sitting on the porch at home, having watched the trailer, he's like, "It looks fucking great. It's got two of my fucking favorite things: comic books and Nixon."
There's fucking Nixon in it. I'm there. I'm there. If it was fucking Cusack as Nixon, I'm fucking tripling.
Who is playing Nixon?
I don't know, and I don't give a shit. It's Nixon in a comic book movie. I'm there. The last time someone did that was fucking Watchmen, and it was great.
Because it was 80s Nixon.
Exactly. But this is gonna be like 60s Nixon. I'm fucking sold. I'm in.
Did we get any other?
Yes, we got I Frankenstein again, which I'm still
Shit.
delighted by. I decided to start calling it "Fuck You, Sexy Frankenstein."
That's gonna be.
Because that seems to be the theme of the preview.
It's gonna be the priest of next year.
Sexy Frankenstein, just eat this shit.
Versus Disney's The Gargoyles, no less.
I hope it's entertaining garbage.
How could it be anything else?
Yeah, I'm just like, oh my god, just please don't be boring. Please don't fucking be boring. Like, it's gonna be trash, but I hope it's good trash.
I think it will be.
Yeah, I do. Still, when I watch it, it's kind of like I'm gonna watch it like, wow, Aaron Eckhart would make a really fucking good Connor McCloud in a lot of these scenes.
Oh, they're still trying to remake Highlander.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear about the... I just have to mention this because I love the concept of it, the movie they announced the other day. Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
I heard about that.
What?
Yeah,
They're getting Bill Pullman and
I hope so.
Ice Cube.
Oh, the Ice Cube from Anaconda. Bring John Voight back.
Betty
Jennifer
White.
Lopez, Betty White, Oliver Platt, the whole Anaconda Lake
Get the old
Placid
team back together.
Sure. Why wouldn't
not?
this exist?
They're not doing
Why
anything
not?
else.
We haven't heard from the Lake Placid or Anaconda series in a while.
I'm wondering what those kids are up to.
Yeah. Oh, we got the new RoboCop trailer.
Yeah, it's better than the wife and kid heavy one, but it's still kind of
The effects look solid. It looks like it's going to be nowhere near as good as the original, but,
Yeah.
maybe like an entertaining hour-and-a-half action movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah,
And-
yeah, I don't want it to be bad. I don't. I don't
Yeah.
want to go into it like, wanting to hate it. I want it to turn out to be a decent movie.
I
And that
think the
second
design
trailer
work
is
looks fucking awesome.
the second trailer is
That's
better
the first
than
I've
the
seen of
first
Jay
movie.
Baruchel being in it.
Yeah.
'Cause he was
Yeah, same
not
here.
even remotely in the first one. First preview, rather.
There's it's not a bad trailer. There's not a lot of RoboCop in the trailer, but it's a better trailer than the other one that was released. The effects work doesn't look bad. I mean, it still kind of looks like it might have a sense of humor to it. I like Joel Kinnaman. I like the cast. I don't think it's going to be as good as the other one, but I hope it doesn't suck ass.
Well, and the thing with the other one, the original, it's very much a product of its time, and it says something about its time, and I don't think this one's going to.
Which is unfortunate, I
Yeah.
think. Like, it's
It
like
seems like they're trying to do with like the drones and so forth.
Yeah, but is that...
I hope they
I
go
don't know
somewhere
that that's
with that.
such a universal message as the original one had, Well, I don't want to say universal,
What was
but
the universal message?
just the corporate greed.
Corporate greed, highly over the top violence to the point of being, intentionally cartoonish and over the top.
Yeah.
This one's playing it safe in that regard, which I don't like at all, that they're making it a PG-13. But, it's like I said the other time. I was like, I don't think it'll be that good of a RoboCop movie, but maybe it'll be a decent TJ Laser movie. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, the Hobbit trailer.
Oh,
And
I don't fucking care anymore.
I never did.
well, you read the book, didn't you?
I've read that book 20 times. I've read the Lord of the Rings books 20 times. I loved the Lord of the Rings trilogy movies. I thought they were fantastically well done. I love that series. I love Tolkien. I don't give a fuck about the Hobbit movies. It should have been one fucking movie. It doesn't need to be 3. It's goddamn ridiculous.
You need to watch that one that we watched. What was it, the Turkish version?
That one was great. It got through everything you needed to within 70 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And there was no subtitles.
No, it could have easily...
I was following the first
So you
third
can
of the movie.
extrapolate a great deal. I was following them up to like the dance number about where to hang their coats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked out in the first one when they started doing the fucking music scenes. I was like, really? They're leaving this shit? Fine, fuck it. I want the extended cut of the original now. Give me fucking Tom Bombadil. Why not? If you're gonna waste my fucking time, waste my time with something I give a shit about.
I've tried to read those books so many times, and I feel bad because I do like the fantasy genre, but I can't get through them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike the fantasy genre.
He's a hard read. The Hobbit's a much easier read than the Lord of the Rings, though.
Those movies just aren't really my thing at all. It's not my cup of tea. And the first one was a chore to fucking sit through. The second one, even the trailer was kind of a chore to sit through because it still felt 3 hours long.
Well, if they stick remotely to the actual story and don't, well, they're gonna tangent off quite a bit with the Gandalf shit again, I'm sure. But there's going to be a lot more action in the next two.
Now, is Legolas in the Hobbit book?
No.
What?
No. His dad is.
Okay, so maybe this is like Legolas the First, and he just looks an awful lot like his son.
Oh, no, I mean, he's a fucking elf. He'd still be alive. I mean, it's not, beyond the realm of possibility that Legolas was hanging around in the woods at the fucking time, but they don't need to fucking put an hour of movie with Legolas in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have no interest in it. The only reason I'm going to go see it is because the movie playing opposite's fucking Medea.
And American Hustle.
No, they switched weekends for that.
Okay, cool. I can see American Hustle.
You can go see Medea.
No, I'd rather sit through.
Come on, Brad. Come see Medea with me.
Have you seen a Medea movie yet?
Yes.
Have you?
I have.
Come on, Brad. Doesn't the poster for this...
Next year, I'm going to be the one seeing, most of the shitty movies, so... yeah.
Time to pay the Piper Jones.
Whatever, I watch shitty movies every week.
I'm so not allowed to talk. I've been to pretty good movies this year.
We've been getting off pretty good, honestly. Yeah? I mean, compared to Dave, Jake, and Brian.
Oh, speaking of which, go see Rush, because, that movie was great and no one's seen it because of Gravity.
Oh, Rush? Oh, yeah. Rush was, speaking of Chris Hemsworth, Rush was awesome.
Right?
I liked Rush a lot. I don't think did it bomb? I don't think it bombed.
I don't know how well it did theatrically. It's just that everyone I talked to was like, nah, I didn't see that. I saw Gravity, though. I was like, shut up about Gravity.
Gravity's great, too, but I mean, Rush was a surprisingly awesome flick. Honestly, between Chris Hemsworth movies, I liked Rush better than Thor 2.
Oh, by and large.
Well, I guess.
I want to see how 12 years a slave?
12 years a slave.
Some number of years a slave.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
He's a slave for a little
2
while.
weeks. It wasn't that bad.
Take the short course.
Stay tuned for that video. Bye.
Bye.